What if I told you that you could print infinite money, grow 3 inches taller, and grow 10 inches on your biceps just by playing one video game? You'd probably call me out for being a liar. And I did just lie 3 times. But guess what? It did get your attention, didn't it? And this is all about marketing your indie games, alright? Hello guys, my name is Nico Papalia. I am just your friendly neighborhood indie developer. I made the game Athenian Rhapsody. It's a silly little RPG game, but that's not the point. The point of this video is that I want to share with you some strategies that you could use to show off your indie games in creative and unique ways, to build a community to eventually support your launch, show off your game, get some feedback, whatever you want to do. In this industry, we got to get some eyes on the game before we launch them, you know? So picture this. You're creating the best game you possibly can. Everything's coming out nice, the graphics look awesome, the gameplay's great, the testers love it, your friends are trying it out and they're saying they're having so much fun. You're doing a really good job, you know? You think it'll do really well once you release it. The only problem that you seem to be neglecting is that nobody knows the game exists yet, right? Pretty important. And you know, I don't blame you. It takes a lot of time making the game, but you've spent so much time making the game that you forgot to tell anybody about it. How are we supposed to get people to play this game if it's a secret? Yeah, maybe we can just hope and pray that it'll magically blow up overnight because, you know, it's good. It's my game. It's gotta blow up overnight. It will, trust me. But guess what? That's pretty unreliable. It usually doesn't happen, and it's not good to bank on that. You gotta build up. You gotta build these things slowly. It's a process, trust me. But guess what? You are more than capable of creating engaging and entertaining content about whatever kind of game you're making. And I'm gonna show you a few ways that I did it to market my own game, Athenian Rhapsody, when I was just starting out. And when you're done, you could try a few out, come back, comment how they went. If none of them worked, feel free to come to my house and beat me up. First off, marketing the game is actually half the battle as an indie developer, right? Leveraging skills to get some eyes on your game is going to be a complete game changer in regards to the audience you're going to be able to reach with it. Obviously, there's a lot of luck that can be involved, but there's also a lot of things that are in your control to either bring yourself closer to getting one of those lucky breaks. Again, don't count on it, but you know, they happen. And just, you know, slowly build up an engaged, legitimate community and following over time. Which is usually actually better than getting a lucky break because these people are not going to abandon ship after 2 months. You know, they're going to stick with you. They're going to stick with all the games you make and love your IP for a long time. Chances are, if you're watching a video about making a video game, you own a smartphone. And through both a computer and a smartphone, there are lots of places for you to easily show off your game. More likely than not, you already have more than enough tools to show off your game in an effective manner. A lot of times, developers struggle with thinking of what to actually post about their games. Honestly, there are a lot of ways to show it off in very easy but very engaging ways, but it kind of depends on what kind of person you are, what kind of angle you're comfortable with taking, and what kind of content you want to make. Sounds very open-ended, but guess what? We're going to narrow in. You can and should try multiple angles, experiment with different things, and find out what you actually like the most. You want to try and create content that's both fun for you and effective. So, all these places you're going to be posting to, either, you know, if you like TikTok, if you like X, Blue Sky, Reddit even, or YouTube, there's so many places you could post this game. You can even get out locally and start doing stuff. I do that often myself with Athenian Rhapsody. I get out, I let people try the game, I talk to people, and this is actually rewarded with very awesome experiences. I've met very important people in my life and stuff like that. It's very cool. It's a good idea to get out there. But anyways, let's get into the actual strategies you can try when starting to make your content, all right? So the first strategy I'm going to go over is actually the way that I started out my own game, Athenian Rhapsody, and probably the only reason that I'm here making a video giving you some advice on it, you know? So you're going to take one of these, your phone, that's my dog, you're going to turn it around, pretend that you're my computer, you're going to go like this, you're going to film it. Let's say you're making a platformer, you're going to film this platformer, whatever. With this hand, you would be playing the game, you say, whoa, look at my little guy, look at SpongeBob jump over all those barrels. This is crazy, right, guys? Let me know if you want to play this game. You don't have to do exactly that, but basically, you know, you don't need any kind of fancy recording equipment or anything like that. These things have awesome cameras. I'm filming this on my phone right now. I don't have any kind of special equipment, but this was like $45 on Amazon or something, this microphone. I'm using OBS to record the audio, which I got a smorgasbord of things going on right now. But guess what? Just whip out your phone, point it at the screen. Hey, guys, look at this. Perfect frame rate, everything. People don't mind. So in the earlier days of TikTok, this was like around 2020, that's actually how I started out with my game Athenian Raps. Whatever you think your game looks like, I promise you my game looked worse, and it performed worse too. It was just, there's really nothing going on. It is not very impressive at all. I actually, my programming knowledge was so poor that I would go into Photoshop and write all my dialogue and then export it as a PNG and then import it as a sprite. Like that's how bad it was, but I would still make content about my game and show it off to the public. I would whip out my phone. I would show them whatever I did that day. Usually I just did something funny. One of my more popular ones was Spell Richard. I made a puzzle where you have to spell the name Richard, and that was the whole thing. I'll put it up on screen here, but I just whipped out my phone. I said, hey guys, isn't that funny? Look what I did. You have to spell Richard. Haha, right guys? And it does well. Though the game was really not impressive by any means. It did not look good. The game has nothing. Yeah, there's a little bit of charm, you know, whatever. It was a funny little thing, but it was more so my passion and my energy for the game and just, you know, my own jokes that I was making that kind of shone through and brought it together as a complete and entertaining and engaging experience. And that is really just what started any kind of following that I have for my IP now. That's the number one thing that people say to me is that they know me from TikTok, that they know me from making my TikTok videos. And 90% of the time, it was just that. I would just take out my phone, whatever I made that day, I would film it, I would say some things about it. Sometimes I would make multiple videos on it, I would try a few times if it didn't do too well, and I would just do that. Simple as it is. You don't have to have the craziest, most expensive setup. I promise you, I did not at the time. I still don't. I really still don't. There's no reason why I don't. I just don't do it. I'd rather just not upgrade any of my things, but this is what I meant by you have to take the angle that's closest to who you are as a person, right? You can input yourself directly into your marketing. I've said this before in other videos. I'm not sure if they would be posted before this or after this, but you have an advantage either as a solo developer or a small indie studio when it comes to marketing over these larger companies. And that's that you could put your personality behind these things in full force. Obviously, for everybody, there's a level of comfort you may have with being behind the camera, with showing your voice off, whatever it is. Just know that you can project yourself into these projects and it will only benefit as long as, you know, you're not like some kind of criminal or something like that. Assuming you're not. Let's say that doesn't work for you, you don't enjoy it, or you just don't really want to put yourself into the project like that. You don't want to show off yourself as well, you know? There are a lot of free programs you could use to actually capture your gameplay just right on your computer or whatever device you're using, right? Maybe it's an Abacus. We're in 2024, 2025. Try and record some gameplay footage through something like OBS, and then you can edit said footage in a free program like CapCut. I use CapCut a lot actually on my phone. CapCut is not giving me any sort of money for this video, but I do just want to vouch for it because it lets you put the footage in all aspects. It's very easy to use. It's very simple. I use the Adobe Suite a lot. I use Adobe Premiere. I use After Effects sometimes. Don't really need it too much. But CapCut is much simpler. It's a very easy tool. Free. Great. Has a lot of things you could do with your footage. So I definitely recommend it if you're just starting out trying to, you know, just splice together some clips, add some transitions, whatever you're trying to do. Simple stuff. Make things fit on vertical, horizontal. You could clip your gameplay and edit it a little bit, but I honestly think that this sometimes is a little tougher because you have to make sure it's engaging. A lot of games come out and they look insane. You see the last God of War game? That game looks crazy, you know? I can't make something look like that, man. Look at my game. My game is there. This game looks worse than not that it looks bad, but this game looks like it came out before Earthbound, you know? No, I'm just kidding. This game looks awesome, man. Wonder who made it. It's a little tougher to grab somebody's attention when you're just posting raw gameplay. So I know that our last step kind of had to do with this as well, but I would usually encourage you to put your own creative spin on it, to put a voiceover, something. You could try and find a trending little meme template, something like that, to put the game under. You can find these on TikTok a lot, trending sounds, etc. Fact of the matter is, it's just more difficult usually unless something looks very good animation-wise, something's very juicy, which, you know, juicy, I mean, like, you know, bow, 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 like, you know, it looks good, it's a good clip. It's usually hard to consistently put out content that's just bare bones screen recordings and have it do well and build an engaged following. You know, I do find it much, much easier. Maybe it's just me personally, take this with a grain of salt, to inject some personality behind the gameplay footage. I'll give you an example. When I launched the game Athenian Rhapsody, I had a secret achievement where you would find the invisible grilled cheese and eat it. And somebody did that like within hours of launch, and I went on my socials and I was screaming. I was very upset.
Dude, they already found the fucking invisible grilled cheese.
That actually did garner a little bit of attention. There was maybe a few articles on it. One right here that I really like. If I were to just post a video of like just the scene where you get the grilled cheese, maybe like some text or like the AI voice text on TikTok, like the "What do I do? My dog is missing." You know what I'm talking about? Like the auto generated. It probably wouldn't have been as effective and been as funny for viewers, right? So 100% viable to film your game and just post it straight up. But just keep in mind it is challenging. So if you're going to do this, think outside the box a little bit. Look at what's trending on socials. Try and find the absolute best or most visually engaging parts of your content right off the bat to keep in the beginning. When splicing your clips together, try and have them flow nicely. That means that maybe you don't want to have characters standing in the front of clips and stuff like that. You want to splice them right at the movement so it keeps a nice continuous flow of engaging scenes and stuff. And make sure that it looks nice in the format that you're posting it in. So if it's vertical, try and find a way to make it look good vertically. This is a pretty big challenge that I've had with my Game Athenian Rhapsody because I made it actually in even a worse resolution than a normal computer resolution. I actually made it the resolution for the Game Boy Advance because I didn't know any better. If you're making a game and you're planning on porting it to consoles and stuff like that, don't do that. Just make it normal resolution. This is word of advice. But trends, good, fluid, nice, great scenes, your best, colorful, nice, engaging, capture the eye. Don't use that automated TikTok voice. Please, nobody likes that thing anymore. And make it look good for the format it's on. Actually, the way that I usually do this in vertical is I will have a background that I put behind it. I'll show some examples of this as well. I have them pre-made. I have all my assets picked out so I can just piece them together. I have all my character sprites pieced out. I'll show you guys all of this. And that leads me into my next point. Let's say that you want to take that recording gameplay footage and move it into a step further, which would be recording and editing gameplay footage to make more involved content. Something like this. So I'll quickly go through my process for doing stuff like this. I've been doing it for a little bit, so it's a little easier now. I haven't been doing it as much lately because I'm developing 2 games, and there's a lot of stuff going on, but I'll get back into it soon. My second RPG isn't revealed yet, so there's no real, I'm not really bugging out, but, I should be doing it. Anyways, here's an idea, right? Let's say that your game is an RPG like mine. My dog is licking my knee. That's very distracting. Hey guys, just a quick showing my dog. Sorry guys, she really wanted to be in the video. She wanted to say something, but I didn't. I had to bleep it out. Here's what I would do. Let's say you're making an RPG. Think of some things that might be a little interesting. Like let's say 3 side quests, right? You have the side quest where you have to get the mushrooms for the soup. You have the side quest where you got to find the most absorbent diapers in all of the land, and you have the side quest where you have to eat as much drywall as possible. All right, I'm going to make scripts for these videos. Most of us nowadays do ingest some kind of short form content, right? There's YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels. Short form content is a very big thing nowadays, right? I would right off the bat think about some creators that you like, some formats that you like, and keep that in mind when you are thinking of your scripts, right? And what kind of content you want to make. Keep in mind the speed of the content, the speed of the boom, 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 like how things are moving around, how fast the people are talking. And I would pay special mind to how much time in between the sentences the creators speak are. So something I try and do is keep my speech very tight. But basically, I have my 3 little ideas that I want to talk about and make content about. I think people will like, right? So let's say I'm going with the drywall idea. I'm going to get on Google Docs. I'm going to make a little script. The first line is the most important because I want that first line to capture the attention of the viewer very quickly. I want them to watch the rest of the video. More likely than not, you're not working with an IP that people already know. You have to keep this in mind. You are serving people something new right off the bat. So what this means is that they do not know about your characters. They do not care about your characters. They have no prior relations. They don't care about anything. So you have to feed them the information as if it's completely new to them, which it is. If you go in saying, here's our classic protagonist that everybody loves, you know him, they're not going to grow attached to them. You have to give them reasons to grow attached to them, right? So let's say your first line is, I'm just going to use it in the context of Athenian Rhapsody. The protagonist, the default name is Cornball. So I'm going to go, you have to make Cornball eat as much drywall as possible in under 60 seconds or you lose the game. Something like that, Then I would go through, I would make a script, a full probably minutes worth of talking about this quest. First, you have to go to Drywall Mountain. Then, Thundergoober, the evil wizard who gives you IBS, will bring out a truck full of drywall. He will say that you will have all your stats upgraded if you can eat all of this drywall in under 60 seconds. But if you don't, you lose the game and it deletes itself from your computer. It also leaks all of your bank account information online. That's something I would probably say in a video. That's just what I do. But so you're going to hop into OBS, or whatever, use your phone, record yourself talking about this audio. Then you can bring it into CapCut. I usually like to clip up the audio a little bit first. Pop in your gameplay footage. If it's horizontal and you want it to be vertical, you can put a little background behind it. That's exactly what I do. Bada bing, bada boom. When I'm posting on somewhere like X or Reddit, I will crop it to be square. And something else I do is I keep all of my assets in folders ready to just grab, so I could just plop them in and just have them boom, 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 just zip around and just do what I want them to do, right? So this way, it gets pretty simple. I have gameplay clips ready that I want to talk about. I make a script quickly. I think about something I want to talk about that I think is going to be interesting. I make a script. I take special care to make sure that it's engaging off the bat. I make sure that I remember to display all the information to somebody who might not know anything about the game. So when I'm saying my game title, I will give the little one-sentence blurb as well. I will say something like Athenian Rhapsody, the Choose Your Own Adventure RPG, pretty much in every video, because somebody who's watching this for the first time doesn't know what Athenian Rhapsody is. They don't know who Thundergoober is, and therefore they have a worse life than you or I. Anyways, I have my script, I record it, I pop it in my editing software, I clean up my audio, I make that ready to go, I pop in my gameplay footage, I pop in a background, I do whatever kind of little floating things I want. I usually emphasize these more towards the beginning because I feel like people, if somebody's watching the video like halfway through, chances are they're going to finish the video. It's really in that first segment that is very, very important. So if I want some boom, boom, like some juice in the beginning, that's where I'm going to put it. That's where I'm going to focus most of my effort. And there you go. You have something that looks good, that's entertaining, and you can be proud of. That's a nice edited video. It's much easier than you think, I promise you. There's a little bit of a learning curve with these editing programs sometimes. CapCut, like I said, is a very easy one, but it's much easier and you're very capable of doing it, I promise you. Now I'm going to go over some additional strategies now that we just talked about the forms of content you could try out. So one thing you could try and do in your content, no matter what kind it is, whether you're filming yourself, you're filming the screen, you're making edited content, try and ask your viewers questions. You want them to comment. One, for the algorithm, and two, because it builds a community. The most engagement I'll get on my videos is when I ask people to think of characters. I say, hey guys, what kind of enemy do you want to see in this game? What kind of hat should I give this guy? How big do you think this guy's feet are? That one doesn't really get as many... Yeah, that won't do you too well, but like make a character, do this, do that, because everybody has little characters they like. Everybody wants to share their ideas, and it's fun. What's 3 to the power of 9 times 6? That's not a good one either. I would usually try and ask them creative questions where they could input their own imaginative things into your game. Even if, you don't need to put them in your game or anything like that, but just say, hey, what would you do? What would you make? Do you like this? How would you change this? Just a simple question, and then sticking around on the video to reply to the comments and maybe explain some questions people have and say, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. I like that a lot. You just bought yourself a fan. You just bought yourself a follower. Guess what? They're going to love that. It's awesome. It's really cool to see people make games and know that somebody who you look up to creatively values your input and your ideas. It's fun. You may very well be somebody that people who don't interact with you, who are unnamed, who are unfaced, look up to online anonymously, all right? They may admire your work. They may look forward to you posting, and you would have no idea. So keep this in mind. Engage with them in thoughtful and genuine ways. You don't have to be anybody's best friend or anything like that. Just, I always like to have the mentality of being good to the people who make this a reality for you. You know what I mean? The followers, the community who make this possible to be a career for me, the Rapso dogs, I'm very grateful for them, so I always try and, spread whatever kind of information I can, help them out with whatever, anything like that. None of them have my address. It's not like, it's not really like a parasocial thing or anything like that, but, you most likely have the ability to be engaged in your own community to a degree, and that will help you out in the long run. I kind of went into 2 points there. I kind of started snowballing. I went off script, but basically, engage with your viewers, ask questions in your scripts because it will raise the quality of your content, but also remember to engage with the community that you do have, because they are going to be your bigger supporters, and having that community, that's going to accelerate the way that you are able to grow. Sorry, I had to check I was recording. I got nervous. Imagine I wasn't recording. I'm at like 30 minutes now. That would, I would just stop. Being a good person, being a good role model is good in your community, and your community will value you. They will appreciate you, and when it comes time, they will kick it in gear. They will support you. They will help your game launches. They will spread the word. They will do a lot for you. Just be good to your community. Be a good role model. Don't do anything weird. Don't do anything messed up. Don't do anything illegal. Be a good person. Most of these people, my demographic is like 13 to 14-year-old boys, like high schoolers and stuff like that. I tell them, listen to your parents, do your homework, don't do drugs, don't do alcohol, don't do anything. Don't do anything. Sit in your room, do your homework, do exercise, be yourself, be friendly to everybody, be nice. Spread some good. That's it. Marketing obviously doesn't stop at growing an online presence and, having a fan base. There are some other things that you could do that will help you spread the word about your indie game. While I think that content creation is probably one of the biggest things that you can do to actively push the rock up the hill every single day within a reasonable amount of effort and time, I would also try some other things, such as connecting with other developers who may have caught their eyes on your game, or you caught the eyes of their game. Ask them questions about what they're doing. How did they get a following? How did they do this? How did they do that? Another tangent. This isn't just straight up marketing, but I message so many people, and I sit down. I have calls. I have video calls with people all over the industry, in all walks of things, all kinds of companies. I'm always asking people, hey, this is awesome. Do you mind if we hop on a call? Can I ask you some things? Maybe I could share some information with you as well. And people are very happy to do that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to make connections. Reach out to people. You will learn so much. You will gain so much knowledge just by knocking on doors, and usually they're going to open. If they don't, you just, if the door isn't open, you just, boom, you just walk through it anyways. Don't do that. No, it's not going to happen. Usually this stuff happens online. So you can't really, force an interaction. You're not going to get an interaction, but reach out to people. Gain knowledge from people in like a genuine form of bond kind of way. You know what I mean? Let's say you know a guy who does this, and you think that you just saw an article on this. Send it to your friend, man. Send it to your friend. You will become an information powerhouse by hitting people up, making connections, having calls. I like to have calls because I like talking. I don't like typing and stuff like that. But that's something very important. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent. That's not so much marketing, but this is more so something that's going to plant you in the industry, that's going to make sure that you know your shit. You won't get taken advantage of, nothing, and you'll be as successful as possible. Trust me, even if it's something that doesn't really apply to you at the time, it might in the future. So just learn everything you can. Ask people questions. Have people explain things to you in depth. Do not be afraid to tell people, I do not know what you're talking about, because I promise you, you're going to gain from it. Anyways, look into some local or national events, right? I know this is easier said than done. I'll give you two examples. Usually I attend PAX East alongside my friends from high school, and I go with my publishers for Athenian Rhapsody and I almost said the name of my second game. It's not announced yet. That would have been bad. I would have gotten in a lot of legal trouble. No, I wouldn't have. But usually I go alongside my publishers. I actually just run the booth. I show off a couple of their games. I show off my game. I'm able to connect with my community. This is usually an extremely rewarding experience. People tell me they drive from all over to see me and stuff like that, and it's like genuinely probably most insane experience of my life to know that these people exist and are extremely sweet and caring and genuine people, and they come to see my little game RPG Athenian Rhapsody. It's amazing, and the connections you'll meet there will last a lifetime in the industry and stuff like that. It's PAX East is very important to me, but obviously that costs money. Luckily, I go with my publishers, so this doesn't come out of my own IP's spend and stuff like that. It's not really like so expensive or anything like that. Anyways, it's pretty reasonable. But let's say before you're actually making money for your games, you don't want to be dropping thousands of dollars and stuff. So here's another example, right? First off, there are other local events. I know there was one in Albany semi-recently. Somebody was telling me about. I couldn't make it. I had a wedding that day, I think. But there are events of all shapes and sizes, more or less around your area. So just do some Google searching, do some research, and there probably will be events that you could table at in the next few months where you could just show off your game, bring your computer, do what you want to do, bring your social attitude, bring your social batteries, and that's always a good experience. People are coming in looking for this type of stuff, and you have the perfect opportunity to give them an elevator pitch, and you never know who you're going to find at these places. So tabling at events is huge. Another thing, all right, so this one does actually include putting yourself out there a little bit, and I don't know if you could tell, but I really don't have any kind of social boundaries boundaries or anything like that usually, but this actually was tough for me the first time I did it for like the first 5 minutes, but once we started talking to somebody, it was great. Think of something interesting and go out, make some content with people. Be respectful, obviously. You don't have to be one of these crazy kick streamers or something like that doing these committing crimes or whatever, but here's an example of a video I made. I made a whiteboard and I said, would you rather play Athenian Rhapsody or Pokemon? And I asked people in the mall. I went to my local mall. I made some great connections actually this day. It was really fun. I saw some people I knew too. We had a great time. There's a whole video on that as well. But, you know, let's say you have a platformer. Why don't you get a build on your Switch and say, go and ask people, oh, how much would you pay for this game? That's a good one. How much? I should have kept that. They'd probably only pay like $3 for my game or something. I would be embarrassed. But that, you know, it's good content. It's fun, you know. Nobody really cares. Yeah, get out there, think of some ideas, make some videos, talk to people in public. More often than not, people are going to enjoy an interaction with you if you're a genuine and caring person and you know how to talk to people respectfully, if you were raised right, if your mother did a good job, you know what I'm saying? This is out of 99% of the population's comfort zone. But I promise you, when you get out there and you talk to one person, you're going to be fine. I promise you. All right, I legitimately promise you that you will be completely fine once you start one conversation. Once you cold approach one person and break the ice, it's so much easier. You're doing something fun. Everybody loves seeing somebody in real life who makes video games. I've never had a bad interaction based on it. If you go out and say, "Hey, I make video games," they're gonna say, "Yeah, that's awesome. I want to talk to you. This is cool. My 13-year-old son, Johnny, he loves Mario Bros. That guy, he loves that shit. With the one they just released, Black Ops 6, Mario Black Ops 6. He's a big gamer. I'll send him a picture. Come here, I want to send a picture of him. Come here, I want to take a picture of you to send it to my son." Yeah, trust me. People will be accepting and loving towards you, and you will have a fun time, usually. And if they aren't, then it makes for good content. Everybody loves video games. I hope that, this is 40 minutes now recording, I hope that over the course of my rambling, you have maybe thought of a few things you want to try in terms of actually making the content, either getting behind the camera, filming your computer, recording it, doing a voiceover, editing your content, trying a short form, fast-paced style, trying a more long form style. But leverage social media. Leverage all of these sites that we have now, because I promise you it has never been easier to put out your game and you know, experiment and make content and get a following from it. You're not going to, you know, we're not all going to be, you know, influencers overnight or anything like that, but you just want to slowly build up an engaged community for your indie game. And I promise you it might seem like you're pushing the rock up the hill and it's coming back down the rock, but you will be making progress. Somebody's swiping along and seeing your game for a second and swiping past. Guess what? The second time they see that game come up, they're going to say, "Oh, I know this guy." Maybe they'll see it on Steam one day and they'll say, "Oh, I saw this on TikTok. Easy buy. Boom, purchase. Boom, purchase." You're reaching more people than you think. There are lots and lots of guides online to marketing your indie game, and they all say the same thing, you know, participate in Steam events, make content, do this, do that, you know. That information is all out there. I'm trying to kind of fill the niche of the more nuanced role of starting out, no idea what to do, no connections, no money, no clue. What do I do? I'm trying to kind of fill the niche of knowledge of that, of what's your situation? How many hours do you really have in a week? How many hours do you have in a month, you know? How can I help you grow based on your specific circumstances? So I'm actually offering one-on-one sessions. I'm starting with like an hour sessions. Shoot me an email. I have a form for it. And describe to me what you are looking for, how I can help you, and we will be in touch, and maybe we can set something up. This is something new I'm trying, just because I want to fill the role. These are little one-on-one classes. These are, obviously, I have to charge for them because, you know, busy guy, you know, whatever. Even if, you know, we don't set up a session, you know, you shoot me a question, whatever. Just, you know, I want to help everybody out. So if you're interested in that, shoot me the contact form, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM, or wherever. Don't shoot me. Bing, bing, block it, you see? And we will talk, you know. Thank you for watching, and I cannot wait to see what kind of content you make based off of your indie game. I can't wait to see you show yourself off in the fullest, in your biggest, boldest, bravest form on the internet. Show me your game, and when you're done, I want you to go like this. When you're done filming the camera, I want you to go, "Thanks a lot, Nico Popoli from Athenian Rhapsody. I can't wait to market my own..." That's my dog. "I can't wait to market my own indie game." Guess what, guys? Then one day you're making plush, you're having 100 being shipped to the U.S. overseas, and they have butt cheeks. This one's a little messed up. I was kicking it around like a soccer ball. My girlfriend had to sew the butt crack, so it's a little different than usual. But anyways, I wish you luck. I hope everybody's healthy in your family, everything like that. All right, I will catch you. I'm gonna go edit this video now. Thank you.